The closest thing to me is my forehead, but I cannot see it. You can see my forehead. I can't. Even if I go like that, I can't. So a coach can see your forehead and say, there's something on your forehead and you don't know. That's why a coach is helpful, because a coach can point out something that you're doing and you don't realize you're doing it.
Hello and welcome to the Ronny Leber Show, where every week we bring you fascinating guests with inspiring stories of success and overcoming obstacles from the worlds of sports, business, and entertainment. To support this channel, please subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and hit the like button so that we can deliver you the best content possible. In the coaching sphere, our guest today has left a mark over 30 years and across 4 continents. Selected personally by Tony Robbins as a master trainer, he has also worked with the likes of Richard Bandler, John Grinder, and Robert Dilts. An authority in spiral dynamics. In Italy, he has collaborated with corporations such as Google, IBM, and BMW, and he's also a sought-after lecturer at FIPAF and the FIGC, and has been working also with the likes of the youth team of Inter Milan. He's also an acclaimed author with bestsellers to his name. Get ready for a riveting journey through the world of personal development and coaching. I'm very thrilled to introduce, live from Milan, Italy, or Milan, Italia, here is Claudio Belotti.
Thank you, Ronny. Thank you so much. I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you for being here, Claudio. When you listen to all of that, 30 years, it's a long span. What comes to mind to you?
That I'm old. That I'm old, and that I'm very, very lucky, and to have the experience that I have, to have friends like you, that I had the chance, and I still have the chance to do something that I really, really love, which is work with people and help them to enjoy their life better and do better what they do.
I was just going to ask, because this is not a normal cookie cutter job. It's not like, okay, I'm a hairdresser, or I'm a mathematician, or I'm a teacher. This, when somebody asks you, what do you do? What do you tell them?
If I can, I try I try to make sure that they don't ask me that, because otherwise it's not easy. I started 30 years ago here in Italy. I found out about coaching when I was living in the States. Then I came back to Italy and I started to be a coach, and I had to explain what it was, because nobody knew what it was. Now I still need to explain it, because everybody thinks what it is and they have the wrong idea.
What do people think, and what is it really?
They think, here in Italy right now, they think that the coach is someone that makes you rich. Because a lot of young coaches right now, they market themselves like, buy my program and you're going to get rich without working. You move to Dubai and buy a Maserati or a Lamborghini in 6 months. And it's not about that. The other ones, they tell you the coach is someone that helps you to get from point A to point B, to get your goals and be successful. I think that, getting your goals is really nice, and be successful is, of course, very nice. But I think that coaching should be what it was at the beginning, which is someone that helps you to bring out what you have inside. We all have gifts, we have talents, with something that throughout the years we put away because society doesn't allow us to do. Our parents told us it's wrong, or we want to fit in. We all do it. We know. We all did it, and we still do it. So a coach, I think, should be someone that helps you to understand who you really are, what you really want, and do your best to be faithful to that in order to be happy and then successful. Because as we both know, success with no fulfillment, as our friend and mentor Tony Robbins tells us, is failure. So why be successful when you can be happy?
Wow.
Can you be happy and successful? Of course.
So basically, it's you help people becoming the best version of themselves, like who they were meant to be. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. That's my goal. That's what I would like to be remembered for eventually.
So basically, in the words of a fellow countryman of yours, of Michelangelo, when he was asked about the David statue, of like, wow, how could he come up with this incredible statue? Then basically Michelangelo said that I didn't come up with that; it was always there. I just helped it to carve it out of the stone. Like that's what you do. You're the Michelangelo, basically.
Well, Michelangelo for an Italian is like God. So, but yeah, more or less. I try. Let's say I try to do that.
All right. So, what was it actually that you had imagined becoming when you were a kid? Because back then, I'm sure you had never heard of coaching in a way, and also like, and how did you then get into the world of personal development?
It's a funny story. When I was a kid, I grew up with my granddad. Had an interesting experience during Second World War. As soon as he went to Africa, 2 days later, he was imprisoned by the American. They took him over to Colorado, and he spent 7 years in Colorado in a national park working, and he had 4 to 5 meals a day. He came back happy, tanned, healthy, and he kept talking about the United States as the country where everything is possible. So I grew up with that, and also because of my age, I grew up with all the TV shows, the American TV shows, the nice ones. Now they're all about crime and stuff like that. But in my old days were Happy Days, Chips, everything was nice and beautiful. So I wanted to travel because I come from a beautiful country and I'm very proud, as you know, of my culture. And I think there is a world out there that we need to explore. And I started working in the hotel business because I knew it was going to be easy to find a job around the world if you work in hotel business. And I like to be with people and to see different kind of people. I always ask myself, even when I was a small kid, why people do what they do, why they react the way they react, why some people, if their soccer team loses, they get upset, and some get sad, which is two different reactions. So when I went to the States and I was working in this really beautiful hotel and I had the management position, I realized that I needed skills in order to interact, manage my team and my client, which were very demanding. And I started to read and do courses. I did all kinds of stuff. And eventually I read Tony Robbins' book. Then the second one, then I started with the audio tapes, because in those days we had audio tapes. And then I went to
cassette players and so on, yeah.
And then a seminar, and then I decided that was something I wanted to do. So I left that business and I started to be a coach, when in Italy, basically nobody was a coach.
So that was in the 90s or something, back in the 90s?
Yes. My first seminar with Tony Robbins was in 1993.
Wow.
So very long time ago. So then I came back to Italy and I decided that this is what I wanted to do. I was lucky enough to be in the right place at the right time, and my whole career started.
Wow. And now, basically 30 years later, after your first, this is what you do full time, and you work, as you already mentioned, with big corporations. You also work with sports associations, with sports teams. As we already mentioned, also, for example, with the youth team of Inter Milan, you've worked with them for several years.
Yes.
What is on the one hand, let's start with, what do people most approach you with? Like, what is it? Some challenges? Is it something like a one and done kind of thing, or is it something that you do on a continuous basis? How does it work?
Yes, I have a company, and it's few of us. 80% of our revenue, 80% of revenue is corporate. The rest is sports. Corporate, they come to us when they think things don't go the way they're supposed to, or things they go well, but they know they could go better. So especially we get in to make things smoother among people, dynamics in relationship, or people working together. Everybody, thanks God, has his own ego, and sometimes they don't get along. And especially leaders need to have strong opinions, strong beliefs, and strong ego. And sometimes they argue instead of confronting themselves. In sports, we always get a call because someone is not doing what they're supposed to do, because
Not performing.
not performing, an injury, or things aren't going well, I'm getting old, I don't play as much. And Inter was interesting because I met the director of the youth academy when I was working for Olympia, which is the basketball team of Milan. I was working with the first team. And he's a really nice guy. Now he moved to Atalanta last month. And he told me, you know what, I'm not sure I understand what you're doing, but I realized there is something that we need to do to help our guys, our kids. So why don't you come over and we create something together, and let's see how it goes. And we worked together for 7 years. Inter Milan is the most successful team for the youth in Italy, and we got a lot of prizes also international, not for the results of the cups, but for what we did for the guys. Not everybody becomes a football player, a professional one, but everybody becomes an adult.
That's fascinating. I want to go into that, but before we actually go into that, let's stay with the adults. Let's stay with the corporate world for a moment.
Yes.
And when you look at it from, because here's an interesting thing, like when you go to a personal development seminar as a client, it's something that you choose. It's something like, all right, I sign up because I want to grow. I want to do that. When you work with corporations, when you work with BMW, with Armani and so on, then usually it's the boss who says like, my guys need that. But that doesn't always necessarily is the opinion of the people, is it?
Yes.
So how do you go into that when you go to, like, basically they booked you for a workshop, they booked you for a seminar, and then you come there and are you always greeted with open arms, or are there also people who are like, what's that guy gonna tell us?
If I'm booked for a seminar, for a course, I need to deliver right away something that is useful, interesting, and fun. And that's easier because within the crowd, there's always someone that is happy to be there. So they can more or less convince the other ones. The hardest part is when you do the one-on-one coaching and someone tells you, you know what, I don't think I need you. Actually, I don't. I believe coaching is nothing. I don't like it. I'm doing just because I have to. In that case, is really challenging. And my job is, first of all, to convince the person right away that I'm there for him, not for the company, not for the boss. I'm there to help him or her. And that he's going to get something out of it that is going to be useful for himself, his private life, and his work. Of course, always, I know I'm paid by the company, so I would never do anything that goes against the company. But I'm here for you. Let me help you. And
how is that, for example? Like, how do you convince that person? Like, when a person, for example, I'm not like, hey, yeah, you know what? I'm just here because I have to, but I don't really like. Coaching is just a bunch of wah-wah for me, or it's not really.
I'm well known in Italy to be a very straightforward person and very sincere. So I said, you know what, Ronny, you're right. I mean, I understand, and we have no choice. We need to spend 6 times. We have 6 sessions together, so we need to find a way. Or I can bring cards and we play cards next time, or let's make the best out of it. So since I'm a coach and you know what I do, and you look me up and you know that I'm a skilled coach, why don't you take advantage of it and tell me there's something that you like to improve in your life? I'm sure there is, because otherwise, if you don't have anything, I give you one of mine and we work on one of mine. Tell me something, that an area where you think you could do better, you could have better, and let's start from that. What do you think?
So what's the reaction normally?
Most of the time you say, yeah, you know what? The other day I was talking to my wife and we had an argument. Sometimes they come out with something that is personal. Sometimes they say, you know what? I really don't want to talk to you about my stuff. So I said, okay, tell me something you're passionate about. And maybe they tell me I'm passionate about, I don't know, rock music. And I said, okay, what do you like about rock music or soccer or whatever? And I start the conversation with that. And as you know, people tell you more than what they think they're telling you. So throughout the conversation, they tell me why they like it, what values they have, or what beliefs they have. And then I pointed out to them, oh, maybe, oh my God, oh, that's great. You like rock music because rock is about freedom, for example. And maybe your challenges you're having right now in the company is that you don't feel free enough to express yourself. Would that make sense if I tell you that? So I show them that I can add value to something, and usually they relax. Because one guy once told me, I'm sure you're a nice guy, but I'm not paying you. The company's paying you. So if I tell you something, are you going to keep it to yourself, or are you going to tell my boss that he's paying your invoice? And I said, if you tell me something, I keep it for myself because I'm a professional. And he said, I don't know about that. So I don't trust you. And I said, fair enough. What do you want to talk about? And he said, I want to talk about soccer. And we started talking about soccer. And at the third session,
Out of six,
he told me, a colleague of mine told me he gave you some private information and you didn't do anything about it. So maybe I can trust you. And I tell you what is my problem. I think my boss is a jerk. And he started. And I said, okay, I don't know if he's a jerk or not. I know that you need to work with him. So why don't we find a way that you can have a nice interaction with him, because you need to spend time with him. So let's make the best out of it. And it was very successful. We did a very good job. And once in a while, I met this guy like 10 years ago. Once in a while, he still writes to me and said, he updates me on things.
Wow. So
you need to be patient. You need to be patient. I need to be patient and welcoming, and knowing that when people are like that, they have nothing against me. It's something going on in their brain, their life, their whatever.
So for anybody who is like, well, I don't know if coaching is something, or if that coaching stuff works, what would you tell that person?
I would say I agree. You don't know. And most of the time it doesn't. But it is not coaching that doesn't work. It's that coach that doesn't work. I don't work with everyone. Coaching is a relationship between people. So my phone works with me or with you. It's a phone. But a coach, a dentist, a lawyer, and anyone, it might be the best one in the world, but maybe you don't like him or you have a hard time communicating. So if coaching doesn't work, probably you have the wrong coach. Wrong, I'm not saying that he's not a professional, is not good. Maybe it's not the right person for you. So make sure you get the right person first. Once you select the person, then you select the professional. I think that most of the time we don't realize that we're humans. So we need to select the human part of the person, not only the professional part.
Is this also going to change depending on what you want to work on, and what kind of things can a coach help?
It changes definitely. I don't work with people that want to become a millionaire, because I'm not a millionaire, and I don't want to be a millionaire. So if somebody calls me and said, "Oh, can you help me become a millionaire?" I said, "No, go to someone else." People can look into a coach if they're not happy with their life.
So no Dubai and Lamborghini stuff with you and so on.
I have nothing against that. I have friends that they live in Dubai, they have Lamborghini, and I love them, and I think they're very successful because they're happy, and I'm happy for them. But I'm very happy to be in Milan, to pay a lot of taxes, because in Italy we pay a lot of taxes, and to live in my country that I think is a beautiful country. And so I can help people. So let's go back to your question. Why should we call a coach once in a while? You're not living the life that you want to live. You're not having the fun you want to have. You're not performing the way you think you should. Something is off. You're not happy. You're not loving what you do. Of course, we all have days that we don't want, shit, it's a shitty day. I hope it's going to be over as soon as possible. Once in a while is okay, but it's too often, there's something wrong. You need to make a decision that is going to change your life, and you need someone that helps you think. And once, a long time ago, a journalist said, well, a friend is good enough, right? And I say, yes, if the friend is not involved. Most people that are close to us, they are involved emotionally. Let's imagine that your best friend tells you, you know, Ronny, I got a job offer to move to Australia, and I don't know if I should go or not. Would you help me? So if he goes, you're not going to see him for the rest of your life, and you love this guy. So in one end, you want him to go because it's his dream job. In the other end, you say, shit, I'm not going to see anymore. I don't have that conflict, you know, because we're not friends. So a good coach helps you do whatever is best for you. So any time that you need to think, to put things in perspective, is a good time to have a coach. Or the first idea was by this guy, which was the tennis coach of Harvard, that says performance is never aligned with potential, because performance minus interferences equals performance. So potential. I made a mistake. Potential minus interferences, problems, challenges equal performance. We all have a performance that is lower to our potential because there's something going on. In tennis, I have the other guy on the other side of the field. I have the referee, the wind, I argue with my girlfriend this morning, I'm in a bad mood, whatever. So how can we lower this to have the best performance possible? And we both know that in some cases, performance could be even better than potential. I'm from Italy. The last two World Cup, the Italian team won.
Wasn't there?
No. The last two we won, 82 in 2006. We were not the best team. We all know, even Italians, we know we were not the best team. But Italian soccer was going through a big crisis. In 82 was a problem about bets and players selling games. 2006, we have another crisis. And the team, because of that, got so together, so strong, so motivated that they won. So sometimes, as we know, challenges help us to take out some power, some inner strength that we don't have. So a coach can help you to do that also, to find out what you have inside that you don't know that you have.
So putting it like, or as the Americans oftentimes call it, like playing with a chip on your shoulder, basically that you do. And I mean, there are some people who naturally just are incredibly excelling at that. Like when you probably have watched the Michael Jordan documentary or The Last Dance on Netflix. You see, like, basically with everything, he was always looking for things that basically got him, like he said, and I took it personally. So and that was for him, like, that gave him the drive to get out of it. And you help people to like to
also that. But and even if Michael Jordan had the drive, he did have a coach, which is Tim Grower, which was he worked with him also, not only on the physical level, but also on the emotional level. And sometimes I help players or professional sports people to there's something, they lost a bad game and they're really upset. And I help them to, okay, you're upset. What are you going to do with that? Are you going to just be upset, or are you going to learn something about it? It's not only about the motivation. Sometimes it's about thinking from a different perspective, seeing things from a different point of view. I have a client, a business, an entrepreneur. She's a lady that once called me, and she made me a list of her challenges. And I said, before we go on, I want to make sure that you realize that 5 years ago, you would have sell your soul to the devil to have these problems. What you're calling now problems 5 years ago were dreams. And she said, oh my God, you're right. And I said, okay, there are still problems and we're going to work on it, but let's put things on perspective. You should be happy because these are nice problems. These are great problems.
Quality problems.
Quality problems. So of course that doesn't solve the problem, but changes my state of mind, my
Perception.
the perception. Everything is about perception. What you call Sud Tirol, for me is Alto Adige. For you is South, for me is North. Who's right? It depends. In Vienna, you're right. In Milan, I'm right. And that is a key. It is an important factor. I have the privilege to work and to know very well the coach of the national team of the volley, Italian volley, volleyball, and is one of the best volleyball national team in history in the world in the 90s, and they won everything. And he told me, you know why we won everything but the gold medal in the Olympics? We always lost with the Netherlands because these guys would always win with us, against us in the Olympics. So we went to the World Cup so pissed that we will win. And then they would come to the Olympics so pissed they would beat us. And he said, we were really upset, but if I want to be honest, I should thank them because of them we became so strong and so good, and vice versa.
Like basically, a strong opponent makes you better.
A strong opponent makes you better if you realize. We all know that in Italian, I don't know how to say in English. He said, if you make mistakes, you learn. That is not true. Only if you realize you made a mistake and you own the mistake instead of explaining or find excuses, and you learn from your mistakes, then you grow. Otherwise, you just make mistakes and you complain about it, or you get upset, and that's it.
What is the difference in working with people from a business environment and from a sports environment?
The main difference is the intensity. In sports environment, everything changes within 2-3 days. If you work with someone that is a soccer player, volleyball, basketball, and they play in the league and in some European, every three days something happens.
Like they have a match, and then depending on how the match went,
match went well, I played, I scored, we won, you're a hero. We lost, you're a loser. And this is very. And in sports, a lot of people don't realize that is also business. Because if you win a match and you go through the Champions League section, is a lot of money coming in or not. In the business world is emotional, but is not so quick. It takes 1, 2, 3, 4 months. And usually the dynamics are slightly more complicated because you have more stakeholders. You have the client, the owners, the people,
management, workers,
corporate, and the rules. They are supposed to be, how can I say, shared. I mean, everybody should know the rules in business. In sports, is a little bit more. They're not well defined. Look at I don't know if you're following the Lukaku drama here in Inter Milan about, did he talk to Juventus before the final? Yes, no, we don't know. And in sports, everybody talks about it. The less they know, the more they talk. This is the rule. The less they talk, the more they. The less they know, the more they talk.
And everybody has an opinion. I don't know how many million people live in Italy.
70
million people live in Italy.
They're all coach. They're all soccer coaches.
70?
Yeah, 68.
Wow. Yeah, exactly. So when you have a World Cup, then basically you have like 68 million soccer coaches.
And good ones too.
Yeah, everybody knows best.
I love going to the games with the team that I work, because if I'm I like to listen to the comments. And I never did it, but once I would like to turn and said, I tell you why he's not taking this guy off and he's not putting this guy in. The guy that is on the bench cannot go in because he's injured. That's why he's not getting in. But he brought him in the bench because the team wanted him to be in the bench. But I cannot tell you this, so keep talking about it.
Okay, let's talk about also teams before we switch over to sports. There's one interesting story also for business teams that you have working with Armani.
Yes, one of the things that I work a lot is team coaching in the corporate world, where, as I said, leaders have huge ego, which is part of being a leader. You need to be very convinced about your opinion. Otherwise, if you change your mind every 3 minutes, things don't go well.
You're not a leader.
Yes. I was mentioning to you when I worked with Armani many years ago, with this lady, which was in charge of all the baby and the junior clothing, so big part of the business. Money-wise, it's not a huge part, but it's for the brand is very, very, very important, because if you dress your kids with Armani, means that you are into the brand a lot, because you spend a lot of money to dress your kids. And the lady in charge had a big conflict with the guy in charge of sales worldwide, so not a small guy. They didn't get along at all, in a very not nice way, not to say a bad way. Sometimes with interaction were not appropriate in front of other people. So at one point we decided to do a retreat. So we took everybody for a weekend, and we decided to go far away in a place where we could be in jeans and t-shirt and do stuff together. And at dinner, after a long day of challenging interactions, let's say, after a couple of glasses of wine, everybody was a little bit more relaxed. And this lady was talking to me, and she said, and we were talking about dynamics in teams and stuff like that. And she said, yes, it's like when the Clash went to Jamaica and they included reggae in the punk music. And the guy in charge of sales turned and said, are you talking about the Clash? He said, yeah. Do you know the Clash? He said, of course I do. I love the Clash. And they started to talk about music. And they started to talk about bands. I love that kind of music that we didn't even know. They were into music like there was no tomorrow. They realized they have the same passion for music. And because of that, the relationship changed forever. Did they still argue? Yes, but in a proper manner. And they will always find a way to find a solution. And the guy in charge of everything at the moment, which was the CEO of one of the brands, and then he became the general manager of all the group, turned to me and he smiled and he said, I understand why you insisted that we had to sleep. They were to go away and spend time together, not working, but chatting. And because sometimes we separate too much the person with the professional. And we need to realize that we're all people and we do share something. It's a matter of finding out what we do share.
Wow. Let's switch over to the sports aspect. And also for everybody that's watching and who is like, well, I'm not an athlete, but sports is very typical, or it's all about performance. It's about bringing out your best. And whatever you do in whatever area you work at or whatever you want to do, when you're at your best and you perform better, it's going to make you better in whatever area you want to get better.
Definitely.
So I think one story that really shows it very beautiful is you had been working with a basketball player.
Yeah.
Who wanted to, Italian basketball player who wanted to get into the NBA.
Yeah. His name is, I can also share his name because it's a true story and he let me do it. His name is Niccolo Melli. Niccolo Melli is now, he came over Olimpia Milano, which is the most successful team in Italy, when he was still young, and he was really passionate and he wanted to perform. He wanted to show he was good. And he was overdoing it. And if he didn't
what does it mean to overdo it?
It was too much into showing it was good instead of trying to be good. And
could you reiterate, what
I
does
want
it mean?
you to see me. I want you to see that I'm good. So I'm playing so somebody can see me instead of playing for the team. I often, if I have the privilege to talk to a sports coach and I have the privilege to work with the best, I ask them, what do you look into a player? They tell me always two things. First, when he makes a decision, he plays the most simple way possible. Second, he plays for the team, not for himself. While this guy at the beginning, like most guys, me too, he would do the most complicated play possible to show off, and he would play for himself. And he's a super nice guy. He was, and he still is a super nice guy. And he would get very frustrated when things didn't work. And he had a lot of people around talking to him, parents, agent, coaches, friends, whatever. And I remember he was on the bike and he was really upset because he didn't play well. And I went over and I said, Nick, I see you're upset. And he started talking and I said, what's your outcome? What do you want? What's your dream? And he said, what's my dream? What everybody's basketball dream is go to the United States and play for an NBA. And I said, okay, keep that in mind. Work every single day and give your best. Even if it doesn't work, you're going to have bad days, but give your best, be patient because it takes time, and be positive. Even when you're upset, you need to smile. Come into the court for training, smile. Say good morning to everyone. Be nice to people because right now, whoever doesn't know you doesn't know you're a nice guy because you have this long face or you're upset. And listen to everyone, but follow your passion. When someone tells you something, pay attention, but ask yourself, is a person I should trust or not? Don't allow people you would not take suggestions from to criticize you. I only take suggestions. If you come over, Ronny, and you tell me, Claudio, can I give you feedback? Because I saw you do this and that. I think you should have done it in a different way. I listen to you. Because I will take a suggestion for you. I'll take your feedback because I trust and respect you. I know you're doing it for me and I respect you. I know you're good. If you think about it, no one that is better for you wastes his time to criticize you. Whoever is better than you, they give you feedback to help you to improve. They don't criticize you just to criticize you. They don't have time to do it. They don't care. In the Last Dance, the Michael Jordan, when Michael Jordan was giving shit to his fellow team
basketball players,
he would do it for the team to help them to play better, not just to show off.
Yeah.
And to make it the long story shorter, because I talk too much, Nicolò went to NBA. Now he's back to Olympia Milan. He's the captain. He's a great guy. He's a strong guy. He's a wonderful person. He helps the other teammates to grow, and he's a great guy. But he had to be patient because sometimes things take time. You cannot do it right away. Wow. Another guy from the youth Inter, similar to Nicolò, and he goes, I say, why are you so upset? Because I want to be the best. And I said, oh no, why do you want to be the best? First of all, you will never be the best. It's impossible to be the best. Because they're always, right now, everybody's debating, is Messi better than Maradona, than Pelé? And it was the shit who's the best. I said, you need to focus yourself to improve, to be better, not the best, to be better than yesterday. Some
than you were yesterday.
That you were yesterday. Because that is under your responsibility. responsibility, the ability to respond. I can do something about it. Be the best is if somebody's better than me and he's way better, I cannot do anything about it. But if I try to be my best and to improve, that is something I can do every single day. We should focus on ourselves. What can I do? Not what you should do, what you should have done. Mm-hmm. That's one thing that I definitely tell often to the players. Yeah, but the referee, okay, can you do something about the referee? No, that's it. End of discussion. What can you do?
Do you see different challenges between people who are just starting out and people who are already further down the road, like in terms of the issues that they're having, or is it just the same issue on a different level?
Wow, nice question. Sometimes are different issues. People at the beginning, they have no experience, so they're scared and they listen to many voices. Sometimes people that experience, they're too cocky. They think they know it all. So it's the same issue in two different ways.
Polarity, yeah.
I would say that, let's say it in this way, experience is good if you treasure your experience. Because I see a lot of people that, I told you I have 30 years of experience, but it's 30 years of doing different things or doing the same things over and over again, because otherwise it's the same thing. You don't have experience. That's why a coach is helpful, because a coach can point out something that you're doing and you don't realize you're doing it. The closest thing to me is my forehead, but I cannot see it. You can see my forehead. I can't. Even if I go like that, I can't. So a coach can see your forehead and say, there's something on your forehead and you don't know.
I love that example. That's really cool. Yeah. Let's also put something into a practical sense. For example, for somebody who's listening, and that's actually quite a common issue. For example, let's say that you have an exam coming up, or you have something where you need to perform, or you, for example, have public speaking. You might have a fear around that, or you just might want to be better at that. How would you coach that person?
If he's a person that doesn't want to coach, doesn't have a coach that is listening, I would say go to 3 people that you trust and love, and they love you and they really care for you, and ask them, tell me 2 or 3 things that I do good or you appreciate about me.
Mm-hmm.
And 3 things that you appreciate, you love, and 1 thing that bugs you about me. And just listen. Don't explain, don't argue, listen. And if it's not clear, you can ask, but don't argue. Just take it. And if I'm a coach with somebody that is stressed about doing something, I'll ask them to define, who are you in that situation? What is the role that you have? Who are you going to be? What's your identity, we would say in our field. So what's the role? You go there as what? What are you there to do and give? One question that I ask very often, both in the sports arena, both in business, is, what are we here to do? What are we paid for? So if the soccer player comes and he said, I think the coach, our coach is not doing well because I should be more forward in this. I said, what, are you a player or a coach? I'm a player. Okay, let the coach do his job and do your job. Let's make sure we know what we're doing. Let's make sure we know what it is our outcome, what we're here for. And let's make sure we identify what can I do, what I can bring to the table. If you invite me for dinner and it's a bunch of friends, I will ask you, Ronny, what shall I bring? And you tell me, bring desserts, bring wine, bring whatever, bring nothing. so I can be helpful. Why? Because if I bring something, you'll invite me back, and I want to come back. So the question I ask myself always is, am I adding value in this situation? And I'm bringing something? Because if your table is full and you don't need me, and I just come to eat and I don't bring anything, eventually you're not going to invite me back. That's the rule of life that I have.
Wow.
Which could be a bottle of wine, or I bring just laughter, or I help out cleaning up later on.
Entertainment, yeah.
Whatever.
Claudio, what's one piece of advice? Like, let's switch over to some rapid fire questions. What's one piece of advice that you would give somebody just starting out in their journey, whatever it is?
Focus on what you can give. Don't look at what you're getting back. Some people are going to take advantage of you. Yes. Don't pay attention to them. They're few. Keep giving. Eventually, somebody's going to see you, and he's going to recognize that, and you're going to get back whatever you need to get back.
Wow. Who is somebody that you admire or look up to, and why?
Well, of course, I look up to Tony Robbins, because he's a very congruent guy, and he never stops. He's always trying to find better ways. My biggest mentor in life was an artist, and then unfortunately is dead, which is David Bowie, because he was a very curious man. He was very gentle, very respectful, he was really a gentleman, and he would study everything and anything. And when he worked with other artists, he would let them do whatever they could do their best. He didn't tell them, play this song like this. I say, you play it the way you want, and then we'll see what happens.
What's the best book that you've ever read, and why?
If I had to read a book, I would read again several times. I did Dune.
Dune?
Dune is a book by Frank Herbert. They did the movie, and it's an amazing book. It's not a science fiction book. It's a book. There's a lot of everything in there. It's an amazing book.
Wow, fascinating.
And the movie is pretty good. But if you didn't read the book, you're not going to enjoy the movie, because you don't understand it. It's too complicated.
Okay. And what's one thing that you cannot live without?
Oh, music, rock music.
Rock music.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Rock music for me is entertainment, gives me time to think, is therapeutic, is everything. I laugh, cry, think, run. I do everything with music.
Claudio, if somebody got inspired, which I hope that many people have, where can they find you? Like, where can they find out more about you, and also where can they potentially work with you?
They can find me on social media. I'm everywhere. So just look up to me. And most of the stuff is out there is in Italian, but I speak English with a strong accent, but I do speak it and I understand it. So they can write to me. My email is very easy. It's Claudio at extraordinary.it. So very easy. But they find me everywhere.
Claudio at extraordinary.it. Beautiful. Yes. One last 30-second thought that you would like to give to our audience.
Enjoy life. Don't take things for granted, because we shouldn't. And we live life once, so let's take advantage of it. And if you believe in reincarnation, the next one is according to this one, so live it well, this one too.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for everybody, to you. Give it up for Claudio Belotti.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for sticking with us until the end. To make this content even more valuable for you, please leave a comment below and share your thoughts, and also share this video with somebody you care about who absolutely needs to see this. Thank you very much. Have an outstanding day, and see you next time.